am a Burlington, Mass native. Went to Burlington High School in Burlington. Played football and baseball there. Um, I've been in baseball as long as I can remember. My parents used to say that I'd run the bases in the wrong way in the backyard. I used to make my dad take me to the Little League park in town when I wasn't old enough to play yet, and we'd just like sit in the dugout and stare at the field. And Coach Barlow will give me a hard time every once in a while. He'll come out to the field, and I'll just be sitting in the dugout staring at the field, even as an adult. I love being at the field, love sitting in the dugout and just being around it. When I decided I wanted to be a coach, it just kind of evolved. I was finishing school, and Coach Betancourt was such a good influence on me at UMass Boston, and gave me an opportunity to coach there. And from there, it just kind of took off. One thing led to another, and the next thing you know, you got 10 years in. I don't know that it was ever a conscious decision. I was around a lot of great coaches before my coaching career started, going back to high school with Jim Curtin, and then Mark at UMass Boston, and his uncle Dave was a big mentor back then. And then getting around Chip Forrest and Joe Walsh, once I got into it, it just started to roll. So I don't know there was ever a conscious decision, but 20 years later, here we are. So what we look for when we're recruiting a student athlete to MIT, we're looking obviously for baseball ability. We're looking for students that are very math science oriented, but baseball has to be really, really important to them, because the academics are a challenge at MIT. There are long nights doing problem sets, and baseball has to be important to you if you're going to budget the time for it. So the importance of baseball in their life is obviously up there, and obviously we can't recruit them without the grades being there. So they're outstanding students, and then we really try to have our current student athletes be a part of the process from the character standpoint about how they're going to be a fit in our locker room, how the chemistry is going to work, and how it's going to affect our culture, bringing that young man into it. And we always try to tell our current players that, hey, these are your future roommates. They're the people that are going to be in your wedding. You should have a voice in that. So we want there to be a fit on both sides right there. So assuming we're in a time of the year where we're out on the field, a typical practice for us will have some optional early work. We tend to practice later in the day. MIT has a athletics window from 5 to 7, so we'll do some early work at 4:15 for the people that are out of class that don't have that late class, and then we'll start at 5 o'clock. I'm our pitching coach, so from the pitching standpoint, we try to have our everydays, the things that we do to kind of separate from the classroom a little bit, so that it's our arm care, but it's also our mental skills work, and it's a lot of dry repetitions. And then we structure it where everything's either an A practice, a B practice, or a C practice, so you never get too far away from any situation you might encounter on the field. Typically, the position players will get individual defense while the other group is hitting and kind of doing drill work in the cage, and then they'll flip, and then they'll usually hit as a big group on the field towards the end of practice, followed up with some conditioning, and by then it's usually getting pretty dark out there. All right, so I'm going to give you the number one, but there's a couple of runner-ups that need to be there, I think, as well. I think the most memorable would be the 2014 team finally winning the new MAC for the first time. We've been in the championship round 3 of the 4 years, and it was a game where we took a lead into the bottom of the ninth. They took a lead into the ninth. They were up 4-3. We scored. We went up 6-4. We give up a 2-run home run in the bottom of the ninth, and then we put up a 6 spot in the top of the 10th inning, and grabbed the first championship for the program. And that was a really special moment. That was kind of the feeling that we had gotten over the hump a little bit. A couple really close runners up. I got to say, Phil Reiser's walk-off home run in 2015. PJ Callahan's performance last year against Babson, just going a complete game in his third one in 5 days. And then, in summer baseball, when Austin Flair hit a home run in his first at bat down the Cape, I chased that ball like I was a little kid, but the little kids were a little faster than me, so I didn't get the ball. I think my favorite part about coaching at MIT is we have student athletes that don't want to make a sacrifice on either side. So the sky's the limit in what they can accomplish, both from a baseball standpoint and then what they go on to do later in life. So they're doing really special things in the classroom, and we've been able to do some special things on the baseball field, and being at a place that allows for both is really unique, and it produces some special moments. and some special young men, and now they're all great alums, and we have a family environment. And it's tough to make that a really short answer, but that's, definitely the kids that we get to interact with on a daily basis. We're really fortunate to be around them. They're a special group of young men.